let's go to Tampa Bay. And I'll just read you the stat. This isn't about any of the rookies or young players, but I would imagine this. Let me ask you, are you concerned if you're a general manager and you see this stat? Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield has thrown 7 interceptions in 9 practices so far in training camp. This is according to Greg Auman, who now covers the NFC South for Fox Sports.
Yeah, we were at a practice Tuesday night, and he threw another one. So I don't know when it was at. So, yeah, that is a concern. You can't turn the ball over. And when we were down there in the spring, there was no question that, and I talked to Pete about this, is that we thought that Baker Mayfield was the number 1 guy, hands down. And then also during training camp, we watched Kyle Trask, and we watched him on Tuesday night, and Kyle Trask ran with the number 1 offense on Tuesday night, and he has much improved with his decision-making and how quick he gets the ball out. He's not the athlete that Baker Mayfield is.
Doesn't have the arm strength that Baker has?
I don't know. I would disagree with you there.
Really? Because arm strength was a question, quotation marks, coming out of Florida.
No, I thought he had plenty of arm talent.
Okay, that's good.
On a lot of the throws that he was making. And then Thursday morning, we went out to practice before we headed to Miami. And then Baker Mayfield took the number 1 reps. And then he looked a lot better Thursday morning as a number 1 than he did taking backup reps on Tuesday night. So this is a lot closer competition. We talked to a lot of players. We had them on camera. And everybody down there was kind of, I would say, not pleasantly surprised, but also pleasantly pleased that Kyle Trask has started to close the gap on Baker Mayfield. I still think Baker Mayfield will be the starter because Baker Mayfield is a better athlete. When they do play actions, when they get him out on boots, things like that, Baker Mayfield is better at that. But Kyle Trask is pocket passer, tall. He's got a good enough arm, better arm strength than you said that I anticipated as well, and a much more accurate thrower, a much better decision maker than he was when we saw him in minicamp.
So as a general manager, you're not making decisions on who starts and who doesn't start, but this feels like not worst case scenario, but a huge pain in the butt because you thought Baker was going to be the guy. You thought Kyle would be the backup. And now you're having to have a conversation midway through camp about who the starter is going to be. And you also understand that if Kyle is the starter coming into year 3 or year 4 and he struggles, then in week 3, you're going to have to go back to Baker. So are these things that are going through your head as general manager, or you're like, it is what it is?
Well, as a general manager, you're excited because you drafted Kyle Trask.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think a lot of that comes down to the coaches make those decisions. The general manager doesn't.
Right.
And so whoever gives us the best opportunity to win, that's what the coaches get paid a lot of money to do on who's the starter, who's going to play on Sundays, and who's going to give us the best chance to win.
All right, let's talk about the short arm crew, the first 2 draft picks for the Bucs. Kalijah Cansey and Cody Mauch. Kalijah Cansey is the interior defensive lineman out of Pitt, and Cody Mauch is out of South Dakota State. South Dakota, I always get it confused. North Dakota or South Dakota? It's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
The green and yellow. We talked to Cody at the combine. He was great. Rick gave him a hard time about being on time or something. I don't even remember what you were yelling at him about. But did you get a chance to see both these guys? Were they both in practice? And if so, how did they look?
Yeah, no. Mauch was practicing. He's a starting right guard. He's penciled in since day one. Very impressive. He had no issues making the transition from left tackle to inside a guard. I think we saw glimpses of that down at the Senior Bowl when he was down there. But he was very technique sound and one-on-one pass pros. Watching him, he's got I would say he's got that grit to him in his game. So I think he's day one starter right off. Cansey, on the other hand, popped his calf, so he was walking around in a boot down at training camp. I don't know how long that's going to be. If he won't be ready for the rest of the preseason. The question is, will he be ready for their opener when they go up to Minnesota or not?
So also I mentioned a couple other players who were in that draft class from Cincinnati. Trey Palmer, we saw down at the Senior Bowl, the wide receiver out of Nebraska. He ran past everyone at the Senior Bowl. I think he had some off-field issues, and that's why he slipped a little bit. Have you seen? Did you get a chance to see him at all?
Yeah, no, he was. You can see the speed that you saw on tape, but you also see some of the spectacular catches, but some easy drops too. So he
Mm.
needs to be more consistent catching the ball. But I see him making the team, and then definitely Mock will be the starter, and then your guy, Payne Durham.
Yeah, how do you look? The tight end out of Purdue.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a loper, if that makes sense, getting up into routes.
Oh, not intentionally. He's just he's slow rev up.
Yeah, he just like build up speed guy,
Right.
long strider, but very good catching radius, and should be a reliable target as a backup for them.
Yeah, they have Kate Otten as their tight end and Co Keith there as well. So there's a chance for Payne to make the team.
It's not a stellar tight end group, to be honest.
No, it's not. I didn't want to say that, but I'll let you say it. And finally, Lige, our guy Lige Doosable's guy, who we talked up and you gave him a hard time about, Jose Ramirez out of Eastern Michigan. Did you see anything from him or not yet?
Yeah, no, they were excited about him.
Yeah, take that, Rick.
So we'll see. But the guy that was getting reps with the ones was Yaya Diaby.
Another Louisville guy.
Yeah, they're very excited about him.
Why does Louisville defense why are they so terrible? They had Diaby, they had Yasir Abdullah. They couldn't make plays. That's great. I liked him a lot. He ended up being their third round pick out of Louisville, and so they're hired him.
Yeah, he rotated in with the ones. Servasia.
Yeah, Dennis out of Pitt, the linebacker.
Good special team player, but he's flashed down there. And then the guy that I think has an opportunity to be their starting Nick, and he was lined up with the ones, was Christian Eising.
Oh, right. I forgot about a guy, Christian Eising, who played with Christian Braswell at Rutgers.
Yeah, and they listed him at safety, but he lined up in the slot corner and also received reps with the first unit defense. But by doing that, that gives them the flexibility to make Antoine Winfield back at safety. Last year, Winfield played some corner too, or some nick, but his natural position's at safety. So he'll be full-time safety. And if Christian Eising can continue to come on like he has been, and he showed up at practice during the mini camp, and he's carried that over through this training camp.
5'8", 197, and when you watched him on tape, he didn't look like he was 5'8". He looked like a bowling ball out there. He was thick.
Yeah, he's a thick player, very quick twitched, loves to hit, and very explosive in his movements. And don't be surprised, like I said, if he's one of those college free agents that ends up making a name for himself.
Did you get to talk to your guy, Antoine Winfield?
Yeah, we did. We had him on the air.
Oh, good.
Talked about when he was sitting in my house with my son, and went through a little bit of old times.
On that high school team that only lost one game in 4 years.
Well, he left because he ended up playing down in Houston High School, but from third, fourth grade all the way through till he had to move, he was at the house all the time.
Man, Antoine Winfield, Jermaine Johnson, Prince, Sting, they all hang out with the Rick Spielman.